What's going on, Fire family? It's your host with the most, Mr. Meyer with the fire. Here to take the collective vibration higher. Mars Day with Mark, your favorite astrology podcast. This is the week for October 8th to October 15. You know what I mean? So, hey, how you guys been doing? Let me know in the comments. How's the astrology treating you? Do you have any major transits, aspects, progressions that's going on? If that's all news to you, you may want to hit the link in the description and get Simplified Astrology to put you up to speed with the jargon, with the lingo. But my intention is to present all this information to you all in the most meaningful way. We're going to cover the astrology of today. We're going to cover it a week in advance. And then we're going to talk about the major highlights that we can see over the week and what to expect as well. Interesting week, guys. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, of course, the chart of the moment. And let me do my annotate button is not working. So hopefully you can see my mouse because I just want to be pointing. You can see that we start the week in Libra. It's a Libra week. So shout out to the Libras. If you are a Libra, I love you. And pay close attention to this energy, especially for those celebrating their birthday, because this energy will follow you for the rest of the year to come in your solar return chart. And you want to look at your natal chart, put the solar return outside of it, and then see what's hitting, okay? So where we start, the sun is at 16 Libra. The moon right now is waxing. We just had our lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Oh my goodness. And I posted videos for every single one of those. So if you haven't seen the video for your sign, hit the link in the description. It'll show last week's podcast, number 69. And in the description of that one, you'll see the whole list of 12 from Aries through Pisces. So make sure you check yours out. The response I've been getting on those was amazing. And I feel like we'll be doing more of those lunation breakdowns. I spent a lot of time cooking those for y'all. So I hope you eat. Okay. It's like if your granny cooked Thanksgiving and you just showed up not hungry, she'd be kind of upset. So if you haven't seen it yet, please watch it before I shake you. Ugh, okay. But in any magnitude, this moon, it's at 23 Sagittarius right now. It's waxing on through the zodiac. So that means in a little bit over a week, we're going to have our new full moon. Psych. You see, you thought I was going to say new moon. Ha, no, we don't get two new moons in a row. We go new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, new, left, right, left, right. You feel me? I'm geeked up on the caffeine, man. So if I start tweaking, y'all, I'm sorry. But basically, we've got the full moon in Aries coming up, and it'll be something to discuss in next week's video. But I will show it now because I've brought it up. It'd be weird to just, gatekeep that from y'all. But I'm going to tell you, it's not this week. Okay. We also have Mercury at 21 Libra today on the 8th. We've got Venus at 19 Scorpio. We've got Mars at 18 Cancer. You see a little trine with Venus and Mars? That's sexy. Love is in the air. Love is in the water. Sea monsters. Big ass serpent creature. What the fuck? We got Jupiter stationing retrograde at 21 Gemini. What? Oh my. We've got Saturn retrograde at 13 Pisces. Uranus is retrograde at 26 Taurus. Neptune is retro at 28 Pisces. Pluto is retrograde at 29 Capricorn. And the North Node is at 5 Aries. That's going to put, of course, the South Node at 5 Libra. 1 week in advance. Snans. You've got October 15. You see what I mean? That's going to move the sun up to 22. Sun moves about a degree a day. Okay. And how do you figure that? I feel like a lot of you guys don't need this explanation, but it may be worth looking at. If this wheel is 365 degrees and it takes us about 1 year, 365 days to go around the sun, if you do the math, it's roughly about 1 degree a day. Not exactly, but generally speaking, 1 degree a day. You could round it up to that or down to it, I should say. So yeah, at the end of the week at the 15th, we're going to be at 22 Libra. And that means we've got 2 more full weeks of Libra before Scorpio season. And I think it's worth saying that I also made a video about the whole transit of Libra. So you may want to check it out in the link as well. So I'll be linking last week's podcast, the Libra season video, and then the Mars and Cancer video for extended breakdowns on what these may mean for you specifically, okay? So 22 Libra, we'll have the moon. You see at the end of the week, this is going to be Tuesday. In the evening, the moon will be just cresting the final degrees of Pisces, about to hit Aries. It really will hit Aries. next Tuesday. But until it hits that 22nd degree, we're not actually going to see the full moon, even though it'll be close. So that's going to be something to really dive deep into next week. Okay. Mercury's at 3 Scorpio. We do get some ingress action. We've got Venus moving to 27 Scorpio, almost done. Mars is creeping along in Cancer at 22. Cancer. Jupiter, of course, makes its retrograde. It's really not moving too much this week, gang, because it's stationing and it's about to start moving backwards. So technically, we get a little bit of backward motion, but we're not switching degree. Saturn is still at 13. Uranus is still at 26. Neptune moves back a couple minutes, so we will see it actually hit the 27th degree, but Pluto goes direct. What? Yeah, gang, the Pluto retrograde is over. The nodes are basically in the same spot. So we do have some interesting things to look at, and I'm actually going to go fast forward to that full moon chart, which is going to be on Wednesday or Thursday, my dudes. What? Thursday. See, we got the moon at 24, sun at 24 in direct opposition. So for my magically inclined peoples, for my manifestors, for my witches, magicians, and warlocks, you may want to set out your spells next Wednesday. Not the 9th, but the 16th. This may be a good time for you to get your workings spinning into the universe. So before you wake up or right when you wake up, you'll be bursting through with that new energy. Full moons are a good time for releasing if you want to go with the cycles, but there's no rule that says you can't manifest on a full moon. I like to be a little iconoclastic and say that, that traditional stereotype, the nomenclature that says that you have to only release on a full moon and only manifest on a new moon. I say bullshit. Do what thou wilt, unless it harms none. Unless it harms none, only if it harms none. My bad, yo. My bad. you know, And if one were to have enemies, the full moon in Aries would be the best time to bust down on those hoes. If one were to have enemies. But we're all love and light in the world, aren't we? Kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. Quack, quack, quack. Fuck all that. And hey, the moon and Mars will be in mutual reception. The moon will be conjunct Chiron. Libra says justice. I'm gonna run it back to where we start from, gang. Interesting week. Calm before the storm. Actually, shit's popping off this week. Shit is crack-a-lacking, man. So I will just kind of bring you through the major highlights. What I'm actually going to do is stop the screen share, and I'm going to show you guys something that I really put together on Solar Fire. And I love this shit, man. But I just got to switch it in the back end. I have this layout that I use for reading charts, and it's so good. I customized it myself. And you guys fuck with the Flames Fire family? You can see how lit we are over here. But I put the aspect grid and the declinations and all this stuff together so you can really see what's going on. And I know that this, okay, boom, now I got my annotations back. Yes, bro. Yes, we are so back. I'm jazzed, man. Should we make it pink for Libra? Yeah, let's get it. All right, man. A light purple. No, that's too purpley. Let's go pink. All right, gangy. So this middle circle with all the lines and symbols, this can be a little bit hard to read. So for some people that are, more linear like myself, we like the aspect grid right here where you can go planet by planet and then see what shape they're actually making. So I want to highlight this one right here, gang. This one right here. And I'll actually draw it in the chart. We have the sun square to Mars this week. And this is honestly the most prominent aspect that I'm seeing, okay? Why? Because sun aspects really are more prominent than most aspects that appear in astrology. Why? Because the sun gives us life. The sun is our vital force. Without the sun, you would be dead, jabroni. Dead. Dead. So thank God we're living. Thank the goddess that we live. Ra sends his blessings. Make sure you count them. You feel me? Hey, man, what are you grateful for? Leave it in the comments if you haven't left me a comment yet. Life is based on interaction, y'all. It's the season of Libra. So if you have nothing to say, please put a fire emoji in the comments just so I know that you saw this, okay? It means the world to me, man, straight up. So the thing about this archetype, this energy, this sun square Mars, this is a pretty big theme in the breakdown for the eclipse. If you want to see it, yet again, it's a reminder to check it out. Both of these planets are traditionally debilitated. A square reflects conflict. So this may be a more tense week. Doesn't mean a bad week. Life is what you make it. I've said this before. I'll say it again, gang. It doesn't even matter where the fuck the sun is or what aspects it's making or what Pluto's doing. It does on some level. But at the end of the day, we still got to wake up and live our life. And the sun reminds us that we have the power to co-create, that we got to pick up our cross like Jesus and walk around this world. All right. That's our solar plexus. That's our ego. That's our spirit, sun energy. So generally speaking, the sign the sun is shows the experiences we want to have and what's good right now and what makes us lit, fire family. So Libra is the sign of balance, peace, relationships, so life is beautiful. Life is really what you make it. But life without interaction, without others, is pretty boring and dismal. I don't know if my Aries necessarily agree with me, because y'all love yourselves and being yourselves, and you could be the only person in the world and be fine with it. But you gotta have friends, man. But you gotta have friends. You know what I'm saying? So Libra is about connection. It's about relationship. It's about being social, getting out of your shell, so to speak. No pun intended, but that's a Mars and Cancer pun right there, man. Is there a soundboard on Zoom? Does anybody know? Because I need the badump button for real. I'll figure it out one day, but if anybody can help me, oh, please let me know. And this podcast will get 10 times better. Oh, it literally will. Because what I need it to come through the speaker. But any magnitude, finding peace. This is really important. You guys ever heard the phrase speak now or forever hold your peace? Usually they say that in a wedding. They're like, does anybody object to this couple being wed? If you do, say something, or else speak now or forever hold your peace. So, hey, if you're not at peace, say something. If things feel out of balance in your life, acknowledge it. Call it out. You guys ever heard that story, like that folk tale about the princess who's sleeping on like 100 mattresses, but she has a pea under her mattress, like a little vegetable? That's what I mean. And no matter how many mattresses you have to be comfortable, if things are out of balance, you kind of feel it on one level. So Libra asks us, can we make things better? Can we find more peace within ourselves? And here's the challenge: Mars square the sun. And we're going to have this aspect all week, guys. Let me actually get back to the time clock, the animated one. And there go my annotations. I'm actually going to restart the share just so they don't mess up. Okay, boom. All right, gang. With the sun square to Mars. Boom, boom. All week. This is the the 15th. Yet again, we are still going to have the sun square Mars. And keep in mind that both of these planets, so to speak, because the sun really isn't a planet, they're both going to be taking forward motion through the whole week. So basically, they're traveling square. And at the end of the week, they're going to be even more square than they started. So pressure is building. Okay. And get excited, because we like pressure. That's how we make a diamond. If you had no resistance, you'd have no growth. Life is built off friction. You feel me? Are you tracking what I'm saying? Let me know. All right. And interesting sun aspects, man, because next week is going to be even cooler. I'm actually going to like jump the gun for like just 20 seconds or so. At the end of next week, we got the sun square Pluto. So if you thought the sun square Mars was intense, you haven't seen shit yet, bro. Get ready. Get ready to transform. Get ready to become your greatest version. Are you ready, Fire Family? Are you ready to evolve? Evolution is the only solution. So what are we willing to sacrifice? That's really the question. Because on one hand, Mars, it reflects our desires. Sun is the spirit of life. It's how we drive. I mean, you could say Mars is how we drive too. Mars is our masculine energy. It's passion, desire, how we make our choices. On a deeper, more subtle level, Mars even shows our instincts. Is that not what desire is? The will to exist? So, like I said, both of these planets are traditionally debilitated. And why? Because the sun reflects our ego, our personal identity, and our spirit. And Libra is about other people. So the challenge with Libra energy is being too damn relatable, too damn wrapped up into other people's problems, giving too much of a shit or a fuck or a piss about what other people say. And a lot of people are like, Mark, stop swearing. And y'all didn't say that shit before Libra started. And I'm working on it. Sometimes it's unnecessary, but it's like I can recognize it's Libra that's got people like, but it has to be nice. What about my ears, bro? Fuck your ears, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just have to let that out and then I'll grow the fuck up, okay? Or maybe I won't. Time will tell. Figure out next time on Mars Day with Mark. All right, man. But yeah, you see the point. Libra is literally about bending over backwards for others to the point where you break your own back. And I like my back. I love my spine. You know, Leo rules the spine, and that's who I am. But basically, Mars doesn't fuck with Cancer. And if you watch that video, Why Mars Hates Cancer, you'll get a very detailed explanation for why. And by the way, I have Mars and Cancer in my chart, so I feel like I can speak from experience and authority. Planet of desire, sign of comfort, right? I think you get the picture already. Growth and comfort are pretty much antithetical. If you sit too still or pursue comfort or hedonism, you live a life of despondency, despair, and anhedonia and weakness. Also, hard times create strong people, and strong people create good times, and good times create weak people, and weak people create bad fucking times. And these bad times create strong people. And this cycle perpetuates over and over and over and over again, man. And what times are we in? I'll leave that for you guys to decide, essentially. But no pain, no gain. That's what they say. Found truth to that as well. So Mars and Cancer is a very beautiful thing because it reflects a want to be comfortable, a want to be secure, and even adds an intention or desire for intimacy, which is pretty cool. But the problem that you may find with that, again, is being lazy, not going after growth, choosing comfort as an expense to growth, or in the terms of intimacy, being too damn aggressive with our love, trying to force our emotions on other people. Mars and Cancer can get manipulative too, gang. So we got to be willing to look at this part of ourself that seeks to control and hurt others. If you're watching this video, man, you clearly don't have an issue with the shadow work because I would have lost y'all long before that. All right. The Mars and Cancer tells you to go within to check out what's going on inside of your heart space. Strongly recommend you watch that video again because what you'll need to see is where Mars is transiting by house. And you also need to understand your moon sign to really understand anything that's happening in Cancer and the transits of the moon. Because everybody feels different. Everybody derives comfort a different way. So I think the challenge with this one, gang, is the sun square to Mars. If we want to zone in on the aspect now, the sun square to Mars really has a desire for power. You could even look at the sun as what you want, and Mars would be power. Or absolute freedom. All right. And freedom comes with a price. You have to pay your dues, so to speak, or literally. Not just figuratively, but both. And this is a crazy thing, man, because the sun square Mars asks us to be intentional with our life. But the problem is, what do you want? With Libra season, seeing different sides of the scales, alternative viewpoints. This could be good, but that could be good. And Mars and Cancer is like, I just want to do what I feel. That's the reason people do anything, by the way, is because they feel like it. All right. And this makes our desires very emotional, very sensual as well, very strong. All right. And it can be easy to initiate any plan, but the follow through can be difficult with our emotions being so damn volatile right now. So what's very important is to have an outlet for your energy, channels to pursue growth, and outlets for aggression. You feel me? Drop and do some push-ups. If you haven't already, Fire Family. I did some before. I'm going to do some more after. Promise you. I promise you, man. Lying hurts my soul. Hurts everybody's soul. And that's the funny thing about Libra, y'all. Libra is the truth. The sun is our life force. This may be a time where if we're living out of alignment with our conscience, you may manifest health issues. You may manifest problems with your life force. So watch out for that too. Another thing that I want to highlight with this week, gang, is that with the sun square Mars, you're going to notice a need for competition. The only worthy adversary is yourself, really. And I'm saying that especially, even so, if you're in a competitive sport or like MMA or chess games or anything like that, man, you know, the obstacle is the way. You'll have opponents, you'll have enemies come across your path, but ultimately they serve to teach you how to be better. And from a more universal lens, are you not them? So recognize these opportunities to grow. That's beautiful. So in addition to Sun square Mars all week, you'll see that the Sun is applying trine to Jupiter. And this is a burst of energy, a burst of confidence. On Sunday and Monday, we're really going to hit this highlight of this trine with Jupiter and Gemini. So, hey, the message here is believe in yourself, fire family. It can be easy to overextend yourself with this Sun square Mars, put too much on your plate because you just want to be great. You want to be better than you were yesterday. You want to be better than everybody else sometimes. Comparison is the thief of joy. Only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Strive to do 1% better every day. You'll only reach your peak if you decide that's where it stops. You can always get better, man. I'm going to be like 84 and better than I was at 83 and 82 and 81 and 80. We're going to get better every year of our life, fire family, because we made the decision to do so. I know that's right. Let me hear you say, I know that's right. What else we got? I got some notes as well. Whoa, okay. So this is actually let's go based on chronology because I just wanted to give the focus of the week, the sun. That's really the highlight. So on October 8th, today, Tuesday, we do have that Venus trine Mars. And this is a very beautiful thing, guys. A trine really plays out like a gift. And the gift is love, which is Venus, and passion, which is Mars. So this might light a romantic fire under your ass. You may feel more connected with your lovers, with your friends, more social. You may find a burst of creative energy with Venus trine to Mars, making it easier to bond with your loved ones as well. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Some would say this is very sexy. I mean, and Libra does rule appearances, so the glow up is real. I see you shining. I'm about to I'm about to take a cold shower, man. You shining a little too bright, and I need to stay locked in. So also Mercury in Libra is trine to Jupiter in Gemini. So that's a gift. Expansion of the mind. Hope you're learning something today, fire family. Beyond this video, I hope you're studying. I hope you're reading books. I hope you are getting the messages that life leaves you. I hope you are enriching your mind with meaningful information, studying that which matters to you, not being distracted by a bunch of bullshit. You feel me? Intellectual clarity, optimistic thinking. It's a good time to make important decisions. All right, giving us some decisiveness. So tomorrow, though, we do have Jupiter making its retrograde. You see it stationing, then, tomorrow, and I'm actually going to move forward some hours. It's still in the station mode, but boomski. Yep. How cool. It'll be like Wednesday night. By the time you wake up on Thursday, Jupiter is really going to be making its backwards motion. So Jupiter retrograde, this is an interesting phenomenon because Jupiter is the planet of luck, blessings, growth. This is the planet of expansion. Jupiter governs meaning, and it's the meaning of our moment, but the meaning of our life as well. Jupiter shows the lessons we get, where we feel the most confident, in control, and where we have something to give life. And Jupiter in Gemini has been kind of a trip, y'all, because what this really reflects is expanding the mind. All right. And it can feel like a wind tunnel of ideas. If I didn't say yet, Jupiter takes about 1 year to go through each sign. It's a 12-year orbit around the sun. Do the math, 12 signs, 1 year per sign. So that being said, this Jupiter Gemini year has really sped a lot of things up. And I feel like it's never been a dull moment. My mind has been swimming with ideas since this shit started. And oh my goodness, sometimes I'm like, can I catch my breath? So the thing about Jupiter retrograde is it will review the experiences that you had while Jupiter has been direct. And I'm actually going to move through my ephemeris as I'm saying this and tell you that Jupiter is going to retrograde all the way back to the 11th degree of Gemini. And Jupiter first hit that degree in mid-July of 2024. So this looks like we're reviewing what's happened over the summer. And this is a great time to focus on our personal growth. Being a little bit more flexible is going to be important. And one thing I love about Jupiter retrograde is this is time to get our shit together, gang. Jupiter in forward motion does really play out a little bit more optimistically, a little bit more excited. And this is not a bad thing that it's retrograde, but it allows us to be a little bit more realistic and to not go past our limits, not to leave things up to luck and hope and chance, to really move some things around. Do believe that luck exists. Do believe that spirit is a thing and you can be blessed. And the crazy thing is, gang, you know, everybody has Jupiter in their chart. Some of us were born under a Jupiter retrograde. And this is a funny thing about astrology, but generally speaking, if you have a retrograde planet in your natal chart, retrogrades may play out somewhat opposite for the rest of the people with it direct, which is something to think about, something to look into. But generally speaking, you know, it's time for some of us to reap our blessings, to collect the stuff that's been put in the motion during this summer. And for some of us, it's time to recheck some things and look where we neglected stuff or where we expected too much or we're a little too faithful, optimistic to the point where we weren't paying attention. You understand what I'm saying? Jupiter is kind of broad, but at the same time, Pluto's going to get even further out. So hopefully you guys are ready for this dive in the deep end, because on Friday, Pluto is going to station and it's going to switch up. And Pluto retrograde takes half the year, by the way. Pluto is so far out from the sun, it actually has to spend about half the year retrograde. So about half of the people on the earth are born with this retrograde. So Pluto is the planet of transformation, of evolution. And some debate evolution's existence. But it's truly evidence, because are we not all in a constant state of becoming? Yes, we are. So the crazy thing about this retrograde, guys, is that Pluto, it's finishing its final trek into Capricorn. It dipped back in for a little bit. And you will, unless you plan on living over 200 years, you are not going to see Pluto in Capricorn ever again for the rest of your life. So say bye-bye to Pluto Capricorn. Fuck you, Pluto Capricorn. I'm tired of you, bitch. And, you know, it was cool. It's been real. They say it's been a pleasure, but it really hasn't. No, I'm playing. I don't know. You be the judge, man. I'm not gonna really be judgmental about this time, because life gonna keep lifing, homie. And we just gotta get with the program and learn to love it. Okay. So Pluto retrograde is a good time because it helps us revisit our soul on a deeper level. And I want to really emphasize, Pluto is a deep, widespread, overarching theme that affects generations. And often we don't even get to see what Pluto's transit does till the people born out of the transit become old enough to assume positions of power and make influence on the world. All right. So my thesis is that some of these kids born this year, in the next couple years, they're going to be like, they're going to make Nikola Tesla look like Stephen Hawking with one brain cell. You feel me? Because he was a genius. He had an interesting degenerative disease. But I like, think about a Neanderthal, actually. And let's forget about Stephen Hawking. The Pluto Aquarius kids and the final Pluto Cap kids, they're going to make Stephen Hawking look like a Neanderthal, because the evolution is going to go into the mind right now, gang. Pluto Aquarius is going to be an interesting 20 years, and it'll transit everybody's chart. So I think beyond thinking about what this is going to do collectively, it's important to remember you make the collective up and you are part of it. So look at the house that Pluto is transiting in whole sign and Placidus and figure out what part of you is undergoing deep evolutionary influences during this time. And if you have any planets in the sign of Aquarius, or at the final degree of Capricorn, you better understand that Pluto's about to be busting some shit up in there as well. And it's time for you to really evolve in this part of your life. So Pluto is bringing closure to Capricorn energies. And really, if I were to go on the macro level and talk about this, I would say that Capricorn is the governing structures, is authority. So we'll see revision within governments. What that means, time will tell. Pluto can also show corruption, therefore, a need to be transformed. And the word for Pluto Capricorn is tyranny. Tyranny, the abuse of power, when power goes too fucking far. All right. And just look at the state of the world right now and think about it. So moving forward, we're also going to have Mercury ingress into Scorpio. And this is really a Sunday thing. Sunday. And you know what's crazy about this, gang? Mercury will square Pluto as this happens. And a lot of times, like I said, with Pluto being such a far-reaching transit, so vast and multicultural and generational, we don't always get to see directly how it works. But when personal planets transit, aspect Pluto, or progress to Pluto, we do get a very clear window to look at this. And that's Mercury Pluto. The mind, and also what's funny is Pluto rules Scorpio to begin. So Mercury in Scorpio is going to really change the way that we think about life and think about ourselves. And we have this to look forward to this week. Like I said, there's really not too much action this week besides the Jupiter retrograde, the Pluto direct, the Sun square to Mars, trine Jupiter, etc. Mercury moves into Scorpio. Okay. And what that's going to really do is add a deep side to our thinking. It's going to really give us penetrating insight and a want to be exact and to uncover the hidden part of the things that we're interested in. And this is very interesting, gang, because this might make us more likely to communicate. It really depends, again, on your personal Mercury. You might be more likely to communicate because of the feeling of power within your mind and now a wantingness to share it, or you may feel way more withdrawn, like silence, like all of a sudden you just dropped off the face of the earth and nobody knows where you are right now because you're keeping your cards really close to your chest, you know? So it could play out both ways. It could be somewhere in the middle. One thing I've noticed, I'm a Mercury square Pluto person myself. I was born under this transit, by the way, is that a lot of times with this energy, it's hard to see a gray area. Everything's are just polar extremes. So that may be important to note is that, you know, life, it could appear to be way more intense than it really is, for better or for worse. So just something to think about. And, you know, people will be more perceptive during this transit and focus on the hidden mysteries, the truths that life has to have. All right. And you know, I'm literally so good at this, man. I have to toot my own horn a little bit. I will just say, guys, because I'm a Leo and I run off the ego, you know, so don't mind me for a second. But then there comes that Mars square to the sun. Tensions arise. And this might stir up conflict within our home, within our relationship. So guard against impulsive actions, outbursts. Try not to take too much issue with others. Take more issue with yourself. Push towards growth in a loving way. But also, man, if you need justice, smack down on some hoes. Whoa. What? For real. And what else is happening? Do you guys see what I'm seeing? On the same day, we have Uranus making an or I should say Venus making an opposition to Uranus. And they're both correct, the first way I said it, but generally speaking, you know, with the interior planet moving the fastest, it's really Venus opposing Uranus. Some would say not the other way around, but I think they're both correct. But hope you should see what I'm saying is because Venus, with it moving faster through the chart, it's like the minute hand on the clock, and Uranus is like the hour hand. So Venus has to apply. It hits this exact opposition on Monday, and then it'll start to separate and move through the clock like the minute hand, you know? And what does that mean, man? Big changes, you know, and also one thing I do feel in my heart of hearts is release. It's going to really release some nervous tension that has to go, things that have been kind of built up. And hopefully we should feel more peaceful, should feel more stable. But let me say, man, Uranus is mad unpredictable. So this could be a sudden disruption within our finances, our relationships. And that doesn't have to be bad. It could be the way it plays out, the way you judge it is really if it turns out good or bad. But the best thing about this is the release, breaking out of the stagnant patterns and routines. And that's very Mars Cancer as well. And another thing I'm seeing, at the end of the week, we have Venus making a trine to Neptune. So that's actually pretty beautiful in the sense that, we'll have this break, this catharsis, and then also this feeling of peace that comes from Venus and Neptune. And Venus and Neptune energy go very well together, by the way. If you guys haven't heard this before, understand that Venus is the lower version of Neptune. Neptune is the higher version of Venus. What is Venus? Love, value, relatability. Now, what is Neptune? Unconditional love, transcendence, spirit. So you should see on some level how they're two levels of the same thing, truly. And the gift here is transcendent love, beautiful peace. This could even be, expansion of our finances. This could be auspicious for a lot of people's bank and their credit and their wallet and their relationships. This might help us see a higher possibility within our own love nature. Because Venus, I don't know if y'all know this, but Venus doesn't really do the best in Scorpio. Again, I have to emphasize this is not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's not even a good thing. It's just a thing. But I'm a Jupiter Pisces person. And what that means to me, gang, is I see life as good. If I had to pick one, I would say it's a good thing. So my intention always is to show you the higher possibilities and the beauty within all these things. Venus and Scorpio can be kind of dangerous in the sense that Pluto's energy permeates our relationships and our values. So there's this obsessive need to have our needs met. We all have needs, but add intensity, add fear to the equation. Then you might do some strange things for change, or you might seek to manipulate, you might seek to possess. Fear and love are almost antithetical, almost opposites. Some would say they really are. So how can you trust somebody if you approach them with fear? It'd be kind of difficult. And this is my Mercury Pluto thing. I think in the past, I've actually said in videos that it's impossible to love and fear at the same time. But I've also come to realize over the course of my life that's actually untrue. You can hold conflicting emotions at the same time. You can be somewhat afraid of something and trusting in it in the same time. It's actually possible. But then percentage levels get to be part of the equation. To what extent? It's not a binary. Sometimes it's a continuum. It's not, am I afraid or am I trusting? It's to what extent am I trusting and what extent am I afraid? So I think the beautiful thing about Venus Scorpio is evolving our love nature, finding more power, more resource within ourselves. And this sucks, man, because but it's beautiful. It sucks for some because we feel like there is no love, or the parts of us internally are too disgusting or hideous to accept. And that's rough, but at the same time, let me paint it in the physical world. It's like, let's say you feel broke as shit. You feel like there's not enough money. Your lack of resources is what makes you resourceful. This is the internal qualities that we're building. This is the resistance we need sometimes. And Pluto is, Scorpio energy. This rules our regenerative function in the body, the excretory system, all the way down to the DNA. So you guys ever use the restroom and taken a number 2? Imagine if you never did that. How bad would your stomach fucking hurt? And I'm not trying to be gross, y'all. I'm really not. But I'm really trying to illustrate Pluto energy. When it comes to Venus and Scorpio, this is how we love and this is how we value things. Sometimes the heart gets blocked up. Things get a little bit constricted. Our value system becomes weak. It needs adaptation. So like, hey, if I could be a little gross and a little crude, the divine heart is taking a shit right now, y'all. And like, it's important to like not resist against that thing, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I can't unsay it. You can't unhear it. My bad, fam. So exciting week ahead. We're gonna have a full moon next week. We're gonna talk about it at length. We might even go house through house. Do you guys want that breakdown? Let me know in the comments down below. If you saw this fire family, leave a fire emoji so I know that you're lit. And that's what it is. Hey, may you be blessed. May you manifest all that you desire in your life, fire fam. It's from your host with the most, Mr. Meyer, with the fire. Divine blessings to you. Blessed be.